Our adventure starts 1,000 miles beneath the Earth's crust, where Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four, have found themselves locked in battle against Mole Man and his Moloids. And in this particular encounter, we find out that the master of the underground has successfully stolen some of the world's greatest works of art. Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, berates Mole Man for his misdeeds. But Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, has other ideas.
Take it easy, Thing. Our plans worked so far, right? We switched the last batch of masterpieces with forgeries, and the Mole Man fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
You might think that it's a foolish move to reveal your plans to the enemy, but we immediately find out that Johnny only did this to trick Mole Man into inspecting some of his loot. This gives Johnny an opening to flame on and blind the Underdweller temporarily. And from there, it's business as usual for the superheroic quarter, as they easily take down Mole Man and his underlings. In the aftermath, Johnny's ego balloons all the more.
No! I was defeated by the entire Fantastic Four, do you hear me? I will not let it be said that I was brought down by this teenager.
Sweet.
The next day, Johnny's at home with his girlfriend, Dory Evans, as he rummages through his stuff to find the perfect picture for the paper's headlines. However, he notices that it's too late to send over his headshot to the publication when the paperboy arrives with today's news. To his irritation, Johnny finds out that the Daily Bugle has not mentioned him at all on their front page. Instead, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stole the Torch's spotlight, albeit in a headline that falsely accuses him of being in cahoots with the supervillain Mysterio. Back at the Bugle's office, Peter Parker gets his usual earful from the paper's editor-in-chief, J. Jonah Jameson. As expected, Triple J insists that Spider-Man is a menace. But what really grinds Pete's gears is the fact that Jonah has deemed his photos worthless. Doing his best to not let anger get the best of him, Pete storms off and fails to notice Miss Betty Brant calling for him.
That Jonah! Sometimes I just want to... Grrr! Come on, Spidey, put it out of your head. Just count to 10. Remember and repeat. With great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. With great power comes no paycheck, comes no respect, comes an entire city that thinks I'm some kind of web-headed menace.
Despite everything, the web-slinger maintains his composure upon returning to Aunt May's house. Surprisingly, Pete enters the house to discover that none other than Johnny Storm has paid them a visit. Johnny has come to the Parker residence with an offer for Peter to stop taking pictures of Spider-Man and instead work as his own personal photographer.
Me? Are you sure? You do remember me, don't you?
Should I?
You gave a talk at my school. I told you it changed my life.
Nope. Doesn't ring a bell.
How about the time you forced your autograph on me?
Really? Doesn't sound like me.
Or when you threatened me to stop making time with your girl?
Yeah, that was you, wasn't it?
Regardless, Johnny's determined to hire Pete as his very own cameraman, and he's willing to pay top dollar for it. Knowing how much of a jerk Johnny is, Peter tries to reject the offer. However, a bit of convincing from dear old Aunt May forces Pete to take the job. The next day, we find Peter on the job as he plays fake paparazzi for the Fantastic Four member while he has a date with Dory. Dory takes pity on Pete, so she tries to invite him to join them in spite of Johnny's protests. In fact, drama ensues when Betty Brant sees Dory taking Pete by the hand. But there's no time for Mr. Parker to deal with a love triangle right now, because he and Dory spots Johnny transforming into the Human Torch when a bank alarm sounds off nearby. Pete rushes off and tells Dory to find cover while he catches up to Johnny in order to snap photos of the superhero in action. But the wall crawler has other ideas in mind. Moments later, Pete arrives on the scene as his alter ego Spider-Man to provide backup for the torch. However, Johnny doesn't take too kindly to this gesture.
Go get your own bad guys, why don't you?
Hey, what gives?
Those are my bank robbers, and my 4-column headline, capiche?
And as if to add fuel to the fire, even the people of New York start chastising the wall crawler and accusing him of working with the bank robbers. Naturally, this makes Peter realize that he's not wanted here. So he leaves. To make matters worse, he reunites with Johnny later to hand over the photos he took. But instead of getting today's check, all Pete gets is another baseless accusation when Johnny tells him that he tipped off Spider-Man to try and steal his thunder earlier.
Look, I'm a nice guy. I'm willing to give you another shot. Why don't we try this again tomorrow, okay?
Peter knows that he and Aunt May need the money from this gig, so he keeps himself from confronting Johnny any further and agrees to meet with him tomorrow. That same evening, Peter devised a plan to keep track of the Human Torch with his new and improved spider tracer. The next morning, Pete informs Johnny that he'll keep his distance from him in order to craft more candid photos for the man. Unknown to Johnny, Pete has already planted the spider tracer on him. Later, Pete transforms back into his superhero persona, aiming to accomplish two goals simultaneously by capturing images of his client and conducting city patrols. Eventually, the wall crawler feels trouble brewing when his trademark spider senses kick in. He swings to another rooftop to find that a villain named Paste Pot Pete has been stalking the Human Torch with the intention of taking him out. But believe us when we say that Paste Pot Pete is probably the easiest threat that Spider-Man has ever faced.
Paste Pot Pete?
That's it! I'm changing my name!
Spider-Man's hysterical laughter at Paste Pot Pete's name makes him lose track of the Human Torch. Because at this very moment, Johnny Storm is about to do something really stupid.
If I'm going to get some front-page action, I gotta do something big. Yeah, like single-handedly taking down some major league bad guy. But it's not like I know where any of them hang out, except, of course, why didn't I think of this before? Johnny Storm, you are a genius.
Spider-Man eventually uses his spider tracer to locate Johnny, and things are not looking good. We find out that the hot-headed superhero has trespassed into the Latverian embassy, the same building that Dr. Doom calls his home in the middle of New York. Doom literally freezes Johnny in place in front of the Latverian embassy's yard, thwarting his plan to take out an A-list supervillain. For a moment, the wall crawler wonders if he should call help, but he ultimately decides to take matters into his own hands and help the Human Torch from certain doom.
Dr. Doom? Your Majesty, sir. I bid you greetings and say, hi?
Spider-Man. Impossible. No one may gain entrance here unmolested. How did you evade my sense? No matter, I see now that you and Storm are on this fool's errand together.
No. A million times no, my liege. Me and this guy, we get along like fire and, well, spiders.
In a surprising twist, Spider-Man tells the Latverian despot that he's not here to fight. In fact, he's here to pledge his allegiance to Doom.
Well, I thought about it and you were right. I mean, really right. Me, you. This could work. Totally. So what do you say? Partners? Hey, I know I'm in.
Is that so? If you would sway me to this, have me believe in your fealty. Supplicate yourself before me. Kneel!
Indeed, the wall crawler submits to the Latverian megalomaniac.
Swear on your life, on your immortal soul, on all you hold dear. Swear eternal allegiance to Doom.
I swear I will serve the will of Doom, now and forever.
However, Dr. Doom remains unconvinced. He wants Spider-Man to prove his allegiance. So the wall crawler proposes that he'll take care of the captured Human Torch on behalf of his new liege lord.
Very well, you may dispatch the brat, at our pleasure.
It's here that Spider-Man springs his plan. He uses his bare hands to lift the block of ice containing Johnny Storm. But instead of honoring his promise to Doom, the web slinger thwips away with the frozen Johnny.
Gotta go.
What? Stop them! Open fire! This is not over, Spider-Man. You have made an enemy whose power you cannot begin to comprehend. You shall rue this day.
Buddy, I'm ruining it already.
Later, Spider-Man helps Johnny Storm get out of the block of ice that trapped him. Instead of thanking his fellow superhero, however, Johnny flames on and rushes to the Baxter building with a metallic box in hand. Johnny panics as he tells the other Fantastic Four members that there's a crisis going on. Johnny's statement pertains to the complete removal of his hair from his scalp as a result of exposure to subthermal temperatures. To exacerbate the situation, the thing inadvertently tears apart Johnny's hair as he tinkers with it. Unknown to them, Spider-Man is off in the distance taking pictures of Johnny's bald head, believing that this is the perfect photo he needs to win Jonah's favor. Sometime later, Pete takes off his spider costume and heads over to the Bugle offices. He hands over the roll of film containing Johnny's bald photos and manages to clear things up with Betty. Moments later, Triple J comes rushing in.
Cut the man a check and double his rate, no triple it, and get my lawyer on the phone. I'm having young Parker put into my will.
The next morning, Johnny's in for a surprise when he discovers that photos of his bald head have circulated through the Daily Bugle. Even worse, he failed to make the front page. However, Pete did not escape unpunished. He thought Jonah would publish the Johnny Storm photos on the front page, but ultimately found that the man used another headline instead. One that, as always, brands Spider-Man as a menace. Well, that's just another day for Spider-Man. That's all for now. We hope you like this video and would love to know your thoughts about it in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Feel free to watch the next one as well. We'll see you soon. Take care.